It's no joke that training outdoors can be a lot trickier than training indoors. Not only do you have to focus on your workout, but now you have cars zooming past you. You have to plan out your route. You have to take into account the wind and stopping and starting and inclines and a ton of other considerations. And if you don't plan it out accordingly, you might become very frustrated that you're not able to do your workout or execute it well. So in today's video, we're going to go over things that you need to take into consideration if you want to transition from indoor training to outdoor training and learn how to train on your bike when you're riding outside. I remember once meeting with an athlete who told me that he wanted to start taking his training more seriously. He wanted to start riding more, training more. I was like, okay, what's stopping you from really doing that? And he was like, I don't have an indoor trainer. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, I can't do a workout if I don't have an indoor trainer. Because he was under the illusion that if you actually want to get a good workout in, it has to be done in a controlled environment. Now, don't get me wrong, getting an indoor trainer and doing your workout on there is one of the most efficient workouts that you could possibly do in that controlled environment. You're pedaling nonstop, you are getting it as efficient as you can possibly do it. But when you try to transition outside and get it done in an uncontrolled environment, it becomes a lot trickier. So let's talk about exactly how you can do that. First thing to take into consideration here is the route. So what I would always do beforehand, before doing any kind of training outside, things to take into account: your average power, which is going to obviously influence your speed; the wind, which is obviously going to increase your speed; the incline, which is obviously going to influence your speed. Everything influences your speed. Fueling or rest stops for, especially if it's a long ride, you're probably gonna have to take a washroom break at some point. You probably know how fast you're going to be going in an endurance zone, so you have to know that in advance. Like if you know that on a typical endurance ride on the flats with minimal wind, you're going 28 kilometers an hour, you can multiply that by 3 and get a rough estimate of how fast you are going to go and how much mileage you're going to cover. 90, what is that, 80 to 84 kilometers an hour? Yeah, not 84 kilometers. So you'll probably get around 84 kilometers. So give or take a few kilometers, plan out your route accordingly. Just keep in mind what you think your average speed is going to be. Get a rough estimate and then multiply that by 3 hours. Plan out rest stops, plan out your routes, plan out your wind, plan with the wind, plan accordingly. And then you know already, okay, that's out of the way. The way I like to do this is on Strava. So for example, let's say I have a 3-hour zone 2 that I want to do. What I will do is, first of all, I'm going to look at the wind for that day. I notice, okay, this is a pretty windy day. And throughout the day, it's quite windy. It's not picking up. It's not getting, it's getting a little bit better towards the evening, but it's still quite windy throughout the whole day. I'll also check out the gusts. Yep, it is. It is very windy gusts. And so I'm going to plan my route accordingly. That wind means in a headwind, I'm going to be going a lot slower, but in a tailwind, I'm going to be going a lot faster. I also see the wind is coming from the north going south, so I'm going to plan out my route accordingly. I'm going to open up Strava, and then just as a random example, I'm going to plan out my route accordingly, heading north and then heading back south towards the second half of the route so the tailwind can at least push me home rather than me riding the tailwind in the first half and then fighting a headwind in the second half. Now, once I took all those things in mind and I have average speed kind of estimated, I kind of know how long I'm going to be going for, I know which way the wind's going, and I've planned for all of that out. I've planned for rest stops, when I'm going to be taking them, when I'm going to be maybe filling up water or taking a washroom break. Then at least that's out of my mind. I can download that map onto my Garmin if I want to, or onto my head unit, and I can follow along, or just at least have a rough idea in my mind of where I'm going to be going so I don't have to plan it out as I go. That gives me one less thing to focus on while I'm riding, so I can at least try to focus my energy and focus my attention onto my power, because I know where I'm going to be going already. Now, the second consideration that I would do here is my workout screen. I personally would set up my Garmin in a way that I can actually see what power zone I'm trying to train in here, how many reps I have left, what the time is, the time of that specific rep or set, heart rate, current power, if I'm in the green or if I'm in the red, meaning am I hitting the zone correctly or am I above or below it, and adjust accordingly. If you want to know a little bit more about how you can do this, I'm going to link my video here called The Best Garmin Screens if you're interested in setting up your Garmin or your head unit accordingly so that you can crush your workouts while you're outdoors. Once I have the proper screens set up, so I know exactly what's going to be on my display, I have the map set up as well, I have my workout loaded to my Garmin, then the other thing I'm going to have to consider here is traffic. What time am I actually going for my ride? If you have this freedom, fantastic. A lot of us don't have this freedom, but I have the freedom of being able to ride whenever I want. I can ride at 4 in the morning, I can ride at noon, I can ride in the evening, doesn't matter. I try to ride so I can minimize my traffic and at least give my brain a little bit more relaxation knowing that I'm not going to get hit by a car. So if you can, ride a little bit earlier before traffic starts piling up, or ride later after traffic starts piling up. But if you don't have this option, then you're going to have to understand that cars are inevitable on the road. Unless you live in some country land or farmland, that's probably ideal for getting a good training session in. But if you are in a heavy traffic, like city-like area, it might be a little bit trickier to get your training in. So maybe programming 45 minutes at the beginning of the workout to just get you to a farm road or country road that you can ride in. So like 45 minutes of endurance to get you to a country road, so at least you have a little bit more freedom before you start your actual training intervals. You can talk to your coach about that, or if you can change it yourself, if you're taking care of your own training, that would be something to take into consideration. Another thing to take into consideration here is lights. So obviously, if you're going to be outside and you're not in a country that has dedicated cycling tracks, then you're going to be starting and stopping. It is inevitable. Whether you're stopping at a stoplight or a stop sign or some porcupine runs onto the road and now you have to avoid it, you are going to have to learn to keep your power in the right zones for starting and stopping. Now, this is more so a skill rather than a fitness thing, but be proactive with shifting your gears. Don't be afraid to go into the small ring. You don't have to stay in a big ring the entire time. And when you are riding outdoors and doing a workout, forget your average speed. Forget the Strava. Forget all of the vanity metrics and just focus on executing the workout. Because if you're trying to focus on keeping your average speed above 24 miles an hour, 30 something kilometers an hour, then you're going to sacrifice your workout. You're not going to give your body the right stimulus, and you're not going to get the most out of your training. So forget the vanity metrics and just focus on executing the workout. You already have a ton of other things that you need to focus on. Don't add average speed or heart rate or any of these things into the mix. And be proactive with shifting your gears. Don't wait until it's too late. Now you have to slam on the pedals in order to keep you moving, and now you're way over your FTP. It's okay to go into an easier gear and keep pedaling in that zone. It's okay. Drink from my mom cup here. Mom, a title just above queen. And stopping can actually be a good thing. It gives you a little bit more recovery. It gives you a little bit of time to eat or drink or regain focus. Now, obviously you can maybe plan around this. If you want to minimize your stopping time, plan a route that, again, country roads that you don't have to stop as often. Finally, the last tip I have for you is accept that sometimes, no matter how much precaution you take or planning you do, sometimes you're going to have to just sacrifice and accept the fact that your workout's not going to be as great or as controlled or as efficient as it's going to be indoors. And that's okay. Riding outdoors is more fun, more distracting, it passes by a lot faster, and fun is one of those things that actually keeps you motivated and keeps you in the game and wanting to ride your bike more often. You're not always going to have the perfect ride outside. Your power is going to be more sporadic. Your heart rate's going to be more sporadic. There are going to be distractions and things that are taking your focus, and that's completely okay. Take that pressure off. Unless you're a pro athlete, you don't have to be sticking to your power zones 100%. Have a little bit of grace with yourself. You're going out and you're getting your training in, and that's more than most people are already doing in the first place. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. You did everything you can. Life has a way of getting in the way. And that's actually a good mental framework for you to practice as well, to build mental, almost like adaptability to the circumstances. Because if you are, something my dad used to tell me as a kid is, if I'm like a train and something gets in the way, trains just ram through it. They don't stop. Don't be like a train. Learn to adjust, learn to be flexible. If something comes up, don't get so angry or frustrated or upset that you're not getting to stick to the training plan 100%. It's okay. So for example, I remember one day I was supposed to be getting a really good training session in. It was supposed to be around a 2 or 3 hour ride, some tempo mixed in, some hill climbs, etc., etc. And mentally, I was prepared to do this workout to completion. I packed my fueling, I got my bike ready, I waxed my chains, freshly waxed. Obviously, I'm ready. I planned out my route. I did everything that I just talked about. I get out on the road, and then it felt very unsafe. Just car after car after car driving super close to me, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And mentally, I kind of checked out. Mentally, I didn't feel safe enough to do this workout. And so I called it. I went back home and I did the training tomorrow, the next day instead, at a time that was better suited for me, that I wouldn't feel unsafe. I got the workout done. So it's okay. Be adaptable. You don't always have to hit your training 100%. You can push it to another day. You can just ride to feel. Some days you feel fantastic. Other days you're not going to feel your best. Listen to what your body is trying to tell you. and be flexible. Now, if you are trying to train on a tight schedule, if you are busy, whether you're a CEO, entrepreneur, business owner, or you just have a really tight schedule and you're still trying to improve, I do have a 25-page ebook that I personally put together about how to train and see improvements even if you are on a really busy schedule. If you are interested, DM me the word busy on Instagram at Elie Samahal, and I will send the ebook your way completely for free. If you like this video, please feel free to stick around and watch some of my other videos. Give me feedback. You know, a lot of people give feedbacks on these videos. As long as it's constructive and it's not just like, you suck, because then I can't really do anything with that. Yeah, I guess I do suck. But if it's constructive, I will do my best to follow it and make these videos better. I'm always trying to improve as well. So thank you for watching, my friends, and we'll catch you next time.